What's going on, Math fam? This is Mr. Cornell here, in for another lesson. Today we're going to be going through the Pythagorean theorem again, but I'm not going to give you a triangle. I'm not going to give you the shape. I'm going to give you three sides, and you're going to have to find one of the missing sides that they're going to be given. And also, I'm going to be giving you all three sides, and you're going to have to tell me, do those three sides make a right triangle? So just a little more practice with this, and then there will be an assignment to follow on Delta Math. So without further ado, let's get into the lesson today. Boom, baby, let's go. All right, so Pythagorean theorem, we know what it is. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. It finds the missing side of a right triangle. Remember, a right triangle, one of the angle measures is 90 degrees, okay? So that's very important to understand. That little box represents a 90-degree symbol. Now, let's look at number 10. Number 10 is right here. We have A is to be 3, B is 4, C is question mark, which is the side they want us to find. Now, guys, you got to remember that C in the Pythagorean theorem is always the longest side of the right triangle. It's the hypotenuse. That's what this mathematical term is called. Remember that. The longest side is always C. A and B are kind of interchangeable. They're the two smaller sides. It really doesn't matter what you put in for A and B as long as it's the two of the shorter sides. Now, this is simple, guys. We simply just replace A, B, and C in the Pythagorean theorem. So what is the Pythagorean theorem? A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Now, I have A is 3, B is 4, C is the missing side we need to figure out. If I plug in the Pythagorean theorem, here we go. We got 3 squared plus 4 squared equals C squared. Now, guys, remember, 3 squared means 3 times 3. 4 squared means 4 times 4. When I do 3 times 3, I get 9. When I do 4 times 4, I get 16, and we leave C squared. I simply combine these two because they're like terms, and I get 25 equals C squared. Now, this is the only part that I think that people might have a little difficulty with, but I think everyone's really getting it. To get rid of the squared right here, you take the square root. Taking the square root, because it's just an equation, right? If you do one side, you have to do the other. Taking the square root will eliminate the squared here. So when you do that, you take the square root of 25, and it is 5. So the missing side of this right triangle is going to be 5, and that makes complete sense because if I replace it up here, A and B should be smaller than C, and in this case they are. So you're checked out. The missing side of the hypotenuse, the longest side of the right triangle, is 5. So that's how you do that here. Now let's go on to another one. Now the next one I'm going to do is I am going to give you A and C, but I'm going to give you one of the missing shorter sides. Now, if you guys look here, okay. Now, bam. I have A to be 12, B to be question mark. We don't know. That's what we need to find. And C to be 22. So they gave me one of the shorter sides. They gave me the hypotenuse. Now we got to figure out what's the length of one of the shorter sides. So let's start. Now I have my Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Now I don't know what B is. So when I replace it, it's A is 12 squared plus B is B squared because that's what we need to find, and C is going to be 22 squared. Now watch the difference of when I solve this one. I scroll down. I take 12 squared, which is 144, right? That's what I did right here. I bring down B squared, and 22 squared is 484. 22 times 22. Now at this point, right here, you don't combine anything here because they're not like terms. Now you're just solving for the letter B, guys. Now you got to go back to equations. Now, how do I get this B squared alone first? Because I want to move the 144 to the other side of the equation. You move it by taking the inverse. And what's the inverse of a positive 144? It says it right here, negative. So I subtract 144 from this side and the other side. That's why I put the line down the middle of the equal sign. Okay. Now, I bring down B squared because it's what's left over. I subtract 484 minus 340, and it's going to give me minus 144. Sorry, it's going to give me 340. Now remember my final step. What's the final step here? Is you take the square root of b squared, because that will eliminate the squared here. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. So the square root of 340, it's not going to be it's not a perfect square, so it's going to be a decimal. So I round it to the 10th place here. And b is going to be about 18.4. So my missing side in this right triangle is 18.4. That's it. All right. So that's how we figure that one. So this one might give you a little difficulty. So please watch this a couple times of how I solve this one when I'm given a shorter side and the longest side of a right triangle, and how I found one of the missing shorter sides. So definitely rewatch this part if this part is giving you trouble when I give you the longest side and one of the shorter sides. Okay. Last question I'm going to do for you guys today is that what if I gave you all three sides and I said to you, do these three sides make a right triangle? Now let's see. Do these three sides make a right triangle? 3, 6, 11. Maybe, maybe not. Now you got to say to yourself, 3, 6, and 11. What's A and B and what is C? So I have the Pythagorean theorem, because remember, how do I know to do this? Since it's asking me if it's a right triangle, you use the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Now I say, what's A and B and C? Well, guys, A and B are for sure going to be 3 and 6, because A and B are always the two smaller sides. So the two smaller sides are the two smaller numbers. A can be 3, A can be 6. Those are interchangeable. Doesn't matter, okay? That's because of our properties here. So 3 and 6 is okay, whatever you make A and B. C has to be 11. Why? Because C is the biggest number, which in retrospect makes it the longest side of the triangle. So then I simply plug it into Pythagorean theorem. 3 squared, A. B, 6 squared equals C, which is 11. Squared, sorry. Got the squared there. Now, when I do 3 squared, I get 9. When I do 6 squared, I get 36. And when I do 11 squared, I get 121. Now, I add 9 plus 36. This side's done for you already, is 121. 9 plus 36 is 45, equals 121. So does 45 equal 121, guys? It does not. So do these three particular measures of the sides of a right triangle, make a right triangle? The answer there is it does not. Nope, it won't make a right triangle. It makes a triangle, but it's not going to be a right triangle. And that's how you figure out if 3 lengths of a triangle will make a right triangle. You simply just plug it into the Pythagorean theorem, and that's it, guys. So I'm going to give you an assignment that basically makes you, gives you 3 sides, or gives you 2 of the 3 sides, and you have to find the missing side, or tell me if it makes a right triangle. So make sure you go on to Delta Math after this, and you kind of get that assignment done. I'm going to be going live. I'm not sure exactly when. I'll let you guys know, just to go over fourth quarter stuff, because fourth quarter basically just started, and I want to tell you how I'm kind of just going to be posting assignments for fourth quarter and kind of ending the old assignments, because it's in the past. They're not going to be counted toward the fourth quarter. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, guys. Remember to always keep checking my channel for new videos and everything like that, guys. And remember, we are the Math Fam, right? And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Please watch this video. Send it to your friends. We are the Math Fam. One love, guys. I'll catch you all later.